Hello, everyone. Everybody out there, we're making it happen. We're going to start up our business playbook mastermind. It's going to be how to win listings part 2, because we had so much fun with it last week. We're going to do that. And a bunch of our panelists are traveling, but we'll see how it goes. See what we have going on here. Oh, there's Dave Lawson, the luxury expert from Park City. Look at that fancy office he has there. Very fancy. I like that. Corinna's in. Okay, cool. Dave's got a ZXP luxury shirt on and luxury hat, which makes me happy. Look at it. It's like just sponsored by EXP Luxury. Sponsorship, the home team.
Hey, you know how you win the listing before you get there? You send them the information on EXP Luxury.
I like that.
That's a good start right there.
That's a great start. Well, why don't we get this kicked off, because we already have around 40 people waiting and checking out. Oh, there's Randy. He's still on the beach. And we'll get this kind of rolling. Dave, why don't you add what you were saying last week about how do you go in and you win the listing on the first visit?
All right. So I don't like the name of this session, not how to win the listing on the first visit.
Always win the listing? Do you want me to change it?
Well, I think it should say how to win the listing before you actually show up on the first visit. That's what I'd like this session to be called, because that's the key. If we can, if we have a process and we have the systems, you know, if you guys have ever watched my training on how I actually take 100 listings a year, I don't just go in there and try to get the listing before I get there. I pretty much get the listing before I ever show up. And there's a lot of things that I do, and but basically it's having a whole system, right? We talked about this, Pete, right? What's one timing, right? Do something once that's one time, really, really, really well, right? So you write out your pre-listing packet that you send. You give them an idea of the marketing that you're going to be doing. You're going to give that to them anyway. Do it up front. So we have, so basically in a nutshell, what we do is we have our, the listing agent, myself or somebody on my team, we're going to send you a packet, Pete, and it's going to say, here's some information about the team, and here's our just the facts. This is a one-page document that's going to show you why, you know, you might consider us. Then we attach the listing presentation. Then we attach the link to the Real Estate Essentials ABC TV show of a current one. We send them some stats, you know, and then what I do is I have my office manager send a pre-welcome. So lots of times we get the listing, and then what do? We send you an email that says, Pete, thank you so much for listing with me, right? But that's after the fact. Don't do that. I mean, you can do that, but how about we have your office manager send you an email that says, hey, Pete, thank you for considering us, and here's the welcome packet, and this is what we're going to do. Then we have our marketing director send an email that says, Pete, just want to let you know we're so excited about having the opportunity to market and list your property. And I just wanted to show you some of the things that we're going to do. And basically what we do is we have here, this goes back to one timing. We have a whole list. So we have a link to obviously not their house, but a different house. And we just say when, because we're assuming the sale, right? I know Corinna is very good at that, right? Right. You walk in and you assume it's your listing before you show up, right? And so So then you give that to them and it has the information and what we're going to do. And then we also, we have our client care manager sometimes send an email out that says, hey, this is what we're going to do every Friday or Saturday. You're going to get the information on what we're doing, where we're marketing your property and everything for your review, because we want to make sure that you're completely informed at all times on what's going on with your property. Is that okay? Right? And then guess what happens? Then Joe agent shows up after us and they say, well, how are you going to communicate with us? And they say, oh, we're going to be in touch with you all the time, but they don't see what you're doing, right? One of the things that we do now is that we're doing a case study. So sometimes we use our case study. So we're listing your $7 million house in the colony. So Pete, would it be okay if I showed you not what we're going to do, but can I show you what we actually did to sell the Glenwild house for the highest price per square foot ever in the subdivision that we sold last month? And that was at the same price range at $6.5 million. Is it okay if I send you that?
Love to see it.
You give them all that, and then boom, it's slam dunk. And then you ask a question. So I'm going to say, so Pete, are you considering interviewing other agents for the job of selling the home, or are you just going to list with me when I come over?
No, we're going to interview 2 other agents.
You're going to interview 2 other agents? That's great. And I think that's very prudent. And I want you to know that after you see everything that we do, if we're not light years ahead, because I know one of them is a friend of yours, you should be loyal to your friend unless when you meet with me that you see that I'm light years ahead. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, and by the way, Pete, do you have all the questions that you're supposed to ask when you're interviewing somebody for the job of selling your home?
No, I have a few made up, but I don't have all the questions.
Oh, you don't have them?
No.
Oh, well, would it be okay if I sent those to you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, great. And then I send them a 3-page document, and the document says, basically, it asks you 50 questions that you can ask. And then on the right side, it says Lawson team. And then it gives all of our answers. And then we say, but, Pete, I'm going to send that to you. But just to be fair to the other guy, fold that over. So, so they don't know what we're doing. But then you can ask. Is that okay?
Sure, that's great.
Yeah, and then I send it over. And by the way, it says other agent. There's only one column. You can't interview more than one, right? Because it's subliminal, right? And then, what I do is say, so what I want you to do, Pete, is I want you to hire the other agent if you don't see, and I love using the word light years ahead because we are light years ahead. Now, if you're not light years ahead, don't say that. But if you give them that and then somebody else comes in, they're not prepared, they haven't role played their listing presentation, they haven't practiced it, they've been on one listing appointment 2.5 months ago, and they walk in and they don't know what they're doing, they don't have a plan, they don't have a process. And when that happens, we walk in and guess what Pete thinks? Oh, I'm hiring Dave because he is way better, right? And that is the key. That is how I actually and I've taken 100 listings a year for the vast majority every year of my career.
Hey, David.
And sometimes way more.
Hey, David, for the newer agent that's on here and they don't have the track record, maybe they don't have someone like you that they're connected with on the local level yet, what would you recommend to someone starting out, right? What would be maybe the few components that they should work on or prepare themselves for this pre-listing packet, let's just call it, or process? What would
Great
you?
question. Randy, that's a great question. So let's say you have a new agent. They've been in the business for 2 or 3 years. They've sold 10 listings, right? So what can they do that I just told you? Can they put together Adjust the Facts? Yes. Can they put their listing presentation together? Yes. Can they can they email you information before they show up? The answer is yes. You know, can they show a little bit of the marketing that they're going to do? And can they have their, so let's say it's a single agent, but then they have a transaction coordinator in the office, right? Then they can have that person send the email, right? Now, if you don't have a client care manager, a listing coordinator and all that, you can also be that person, right? So I can send you an email that says, here's just the facts in a listing presentation or a list. And by the way, it is not a listing presentation. We are not presenting to the client. What are we doing? We're consulting with them. And we're not interviewing for the job as much as we are interviewing them, right? So Randy, you know, if you're a brand, you know, a 2-year agent, you sold 10 homes, you can do the first one. You can have your TC do the second one. You can do the third one. And the thing is that this is very difficult to do one time. But once you set up the email template, it's easy. Guess what else? How many times have you ever called somebody and they say, come on over in an hour or two, or how about, you know, Randy, will you come over to my office or will you come to my house? I want to interview you today at 2 o'clock, right? You don't, what are you going to do? Stop. And then, so what we do is we stop what we're doing. We completely disrupt everything that we're doing in our business. And then what do? You're going to spend the next 2 or 3 hours getting ready. You can make it so that you can do all of this in 10 to 15 minutes. Guess what else? Do you think I wing the email like I used to, or do you think I have done it once and the email is really good? It's formatted. It's very professional looking and it, you know, I don't have things that are misspelled or anything like that, right? And when you do that, you're just light years ahead of everybody in between. So you don't have to have everything. You just need to do most of this.
Dave, do you send it just in email form or do you also send it in paper form?
Both. So what I do is in email form is the way we usually do it. And now what I used to do is I would say, so let's say, I mean, you want to blow people away. Here's a little trick. So I'm going to meet you at 5 o'clock tonight. Is that okay, Pete?
Sure. That
Okay.
sounds great.
So would you like me to email you all this document, or would you like to have FedEx deliver it to you today?
I'd like to have FedEx delivered today.
Okay, because you kind of would like to see everything in writing ahead of time. Great. Okay, I'll make sure that you have that by 2 o'clock today. Now, if I do that, will you for sure look at it before I show up?
Sure.
Okay, great. And you live at 123 Ocean Boulevard, blah, 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 or whatever?
Yes.
Or do you want it delivered to your office? Say office.
Yeah, deliver it to my office. That would be better.
Okay, great. Tell me where's your office?
It's on 123 Main Street.
123 Main Street. Great. Okay. I'll have that delivered to you by 2 o'clock.
That'd
Okay?
be great.
Yeah. So how do you have FedEx deliver that in 2 hours?
You have a bunch of FedEx boxes in your office and you throw the stuff in, you have somebody drop it off.
That's exactly right. Right?
Now, do you make your employees wear the FedEx outfit or not?
And the hat.
In the hat.
No, you just have them deliver it.
Right.
And it's in a FedEx envelope and it's sealed. And and what I used to do is I'd write, you know, on the slip with my FedEx number and all that, I just write Pete Middleton, 123 Main Street, La Jolla, California, his phone number. And I just write it to that. And it showed, you know, you can get pre-printed FedEx things with your return address, right?
Yep.
And you fill out the form. I mean, there's little it's the little things that we do extra and better that just, you know, blow people away, right?
Well,
And
it's
then,
the details matter, right? The devil's in the details. It matters.
yeah, and it's not that hard. And guess what? I would have almost always when I used to do this, I would just have people in my, you know, I'd have one of my staff people go and deliver it, right? And the thing is if they deliver it, I don't really want them to hand it to you. So I walk in your office or he walks into the office, walks up to your front desk and says, here, I have a envelope for Pete Middleton, right? And then they're like, they open it and you know, they're not looking to see if FedEx actually delivered it. What are they doing? They just open it and they go, man, I can't believe that he did that, right? And then everybody else, they haven't gotten anything. Now, for me, I gotta be honest with you, I kind of got away with that from that. And the main thing is in Park City, the vast majority of the properties that we list, they live somewhere, they live in Loya, they live in Philly, right? Craig, they live in, you know, Rancho Bernardo, they live wherever they live, right? And so I really do, for the most part, do it through email. The other thing, it's no different. What do? I say, Pete, if I send this to you via email, will you make sure that you look at it before I show up? Because it'll make our meeting much more productive when I see you today at 5 o'clock. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
great. Yeah.
So David, that's a good example, David, like where you're saying like, look, I don't necessarily do the FedEx now because of your track record now speaks volume, right? That just trumps so many. But if you're a new agent, you should pull out these little tricks like the FedEx drop off, right? You can absolutely do that as a new agent, right? And even if you're the one dropping it off, right? Running over there, drop it off, come back to your office, finish getting prepared, go there and meet them up too, right? Like little things like that will wow that person. And yeah, eventually when you get to your level, you can get away with some of these things and not have to do all of them. But I think that was a perfect little nugget, right? It's like, take these little things, like what is that going to cost you? Like what, $1 for maybe that envelope?
No, I give them to you for free.
Oh yeah, that's right. They give it to you for free.
The FedEx box.
That's right. It is. Yeah, even better. So it's like,
yeah. So I was just being honest with you guys, saying I don't really do this very much because for the reasons, right? But no, the reason I told you all that, and the thing is, Randy, when you're listing a property and you're a new agent, you've sold 2 homes and you're in, you know, Oceanside or you're in, you know, Vista, right? And you're mostly listing properties that are relatively close to you, right? Yeah. And so you have the ability to drop it off. And you know, how many of your listings that you go on do you do on a Zoom meeting because they live in Boca Raton, Florida, right? It's not very many. So the vast majority of the almost 100 people we have on this call, they're not in a resort market like I am. So listen to the nuggets, exactly what Randy said, and do that.
I love that. I think it's great stuff, Dave. Can you drop in the chat a sample of all that stuff? Is it possible?
Or any of it?
That's
a lot to ask for. That's a lot to ask for.
I have a meeting right now that I have to go to, so I have something that I have to get out of here in a few minutes, but I'll get prepared and I'll send in the chat.
Send it to me, Dave, and I'll get it on there when you get a chance. How about that?
Okay, well, just, you know, I'm not going to do it, Pete. I'll have Drew do it for you.
I know, have Drew do it.
So I'll have my son. He's the techno guy. I'll get that over to you and we'll see what we can do. And But the bottom line is, don't win the listing when you show up. If you take away one thing, when are you going to win the listing?
Before you get there.
Exactly. Thank you.
I love it. Dave Lawson, the legend. Look at in Park City. He's about to go spring skiing still. I don't know if they have snow there still, or he's on his mountain bike, or he's doing something.
Well, we're hoping to do ski day on 4th of July. So we go up to Snowbird, we snow ski in the morning, and then we go to the Jordanelle Reservoir and we water ski in the afternoons. Ski day, baby.
Wow, what a life. I love it. You know why? And all his listens to take him while he's on the water skis or the snow skis. That's it. Good stuff. I like that. Let's go over to Philly because Craig didn't get to speak last week too long on his process or how he wins the listing before he shows up.
Hey,
So,
Dave, you get to do ski. We get to Dodge 95 blowing up and bullets flying around. That's what we do in Philly.
that's right. Some cheesesteaks, right? You get to have a cheesesteak while you're doing. It's like watching an action movie. So,
Hey, by the way, Pete, thank you for letting me do more. Again, regardless of whether I came back on again or not, the nuggets that are going on here, the pearls, we hear music when we're usually going, but we don't hear the notes. And the note is what makes the ultimate music, the song. Because if you just did notes, ding, 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 and not in a sequence, it's not a song. It's not a composition. It's just a bunch of notes. What you're learning and what you're understanding here is through the years, through our processes, we've taken notes that have different people have done. Notice I said different people. None of us have come up with this. This has all been copied at some point. David might have tweaked it at some point, and Janet did another point, and Karina did another. Learned it from somewhere, but the point is we put it together and we composed our own song. Compose your own song. Don't try not to be any of us. You can't. You're the only DNA you are. The other thing is going back to Pete was saying, if you're new in the business and you've sold one house, brag about it. Say, you know what? I sell 100% of my houses.
yeah.
And stop talking. You don't got to say it was one. Just say I sold 100% of my houses and understand that's where it's at. I'm going to date myself, but when I first got into business, I was taught by a gentleman by the name of Alan Dom. Alan Dom, the billionaire of real estate and all that stuff, condo king of Philadelphia. And he was an Otis elevator repairman, selling real estate part-time, and did more than anybody else in the city of Philadelphia. So one of the things he taught me in the first 3 weeks is you need to practice. And if you're not enough people, you got to practice with somebody. Well, back then, I got a peer partner in the office. We did listing presentations to each other every day. We had to, then I convinced my dad, who had, 50, 80 agents, because I was an SOB, you had to do your listing presentation in front of everybody in the sales meeting. You don't talk about pressure. Now you got 60, 70 people critiquing you. The deal is you got to practice. You got to get in there. You're all blessed. Everybody on here, if you don't have an accountability partner, look in the attendance. Pick somebody. Say, do you want to practice your listing presentation with me every other day for the next 30 days? Do it. It's like going out. You got to be second nature. This is like when you're driving a car and somebody hits their brake. Do you think, oh, I'm going to slow my car down? No, you slam the brakes, you swerve the car one way or the other, and you deal with it. You got to be that quick. You got to be muscle memory. And that's where we are all at. A lot of us don't know what we do because we don't remember what we do, but our mind just does it. So for us to say we go into a listing and say, I say this, I say this, I say this. I don't even know what I say. It just happens to the personality of where it's at and adjustment. But the key is exactly what David said, exactly what everybody has said. Be prepared before. Go get the listing like you're getting it. If you go in there like a hot mess, all right, and it's gonna look like a hot mess. You go in calm, cool. Joe Paterno and a bunch of my football coaches I grew up with had a rule of the game. If the meeting was at 12 o'clock, at 11:45, you're late. I had every time I go on a listing appointment and I'm supposed to be meeting somebody, I stand out front of the door. I wait, I watch, and the second the clock hits, boom, I hit it. Right on that minute, because I want them to know that I'm sincere and serious about what I mean and how I say it, because not everybody else is. Okay. And the other thing is, I'm not talking about what I say, Sean, because we've all gone through it. The other question I've always said is I come in, I say, curious, are you interviewing other agents? Well, we've met with a couple. Great. Why haven't you hired them? and
Right.
stop talking. Well, that's why we're here. There's a reason. They must not have wowed you. What is missing? What is it that they've said that you didn't like? Or what didn't they say that's missing that I can tell you whether I do or not? It's like when mortgage guys call me and tell me, I want to do loans for you. Great. Don't tell me what you do. Tell me what you have that nobody else has. Be different. Show me different. Understand it. Okay. Put your notes together, make your own music, be your own self, have fun doing it. And if it's not fun, don't do it. And actually tell the client, we're on a two-way interview. I'm deciding whether I'm the right person for you because I'm actually a gambler. I don't get paid until I go to settlement. I have to know I got an 80% chance that I'm going to get paid in the end. And I'm going to have a raving fan that's going to refer me to people. And if I'm not, I'm going to back out and put you to somebody else. Are you okay with that? Because at the end, you may not like me either. But I might be able to get you the right person because I'll know I've interviewed tons of agents because I've competed against, and I might have that right agent for you. It just may not be me. Are you okay with this dialogue that we're having? And they usually say, that'd be awesome. Perfect. Now you're getting a referral if you're losing. All right. It is so much fun to get rid of people, but don't waste your time. You can't replace your time. So didn't answer the specific question, Pete. I just took a lot of the things that everybody had and I threw a montage of it's a music thing today. You know what I mean?
I love it. Are you emailing or mailing things to the house ahead of time, or do you bring it with you?
We do email. The second is, and again, we will also drop. I will
Okay.
drop. We will, if I get a chance, we will get a picture of it. We'll put everything together. We'll email it. We'll drop it. We did the same thing Dave used to do. Stacks of UPS bags, overnight bags, boom, 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 drop them off, get them delivered. If I know I'm competing against other agents and I know who they are and I know when the appointment is, I have flowers delivered when they're there.
Ooh, I like that. You are a
With
big
my
flower guy.
stuff.
Yeah.
You want to talk about uncomfortable? Huh. Rake them, disrupt them. They're like, oh boy. And I won. Hey, we don't play fair in Philly. There ain't that many $1 million houses. When you're playing for $1 million, $1, $2, $3 million houses, you got to play like it. Play for the keep, you know? So yes, we email it. Yes, we also deliver it. Yes, I'll send things in advance to wow them if I know that I'm in front of other people and I'm trying to get, because there's that, it's the, what do you call it? The Hare Krishnas. You're not just going to give them $1. That's why they force you to give you that little flower that costs a penny, but they get $1. But the point is, it's the reciprocity. You got to get the reciprocity going with them, that they feel an obligation to the relationship. And again, that's how you do it. Soft and sweet. Give them things they want. And always end with, don't ever, ever, ever use this line. And I hate it. My kids even say it when I'm in a restaurant. Somebody asks you to do something, no problem. I'll take care of that. Live with the 4C, live with the Ritz-Carlton credo. Ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen with an it's my pleasure attitude. Somebody ever asked me, it's always, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. If you have kids that are waiters in restaurants, I always tell the waiter, the waitress who says it, my kids are like, Dad, do not correct them. I said, I'm going to give them a teaching point. And they always learn it and they thank it. I said, you will up your tips by saying it's my pleasure versus not a problem. Because my response is, you're right, it's not the problem. Now go get the ketchup. You know what I'm saying? It just, I'm not doing it. You're right, it's not a problem. Go get it. Live with the it's my pleasure attitude. And when I walk in, I also, one of the things I always say, and I'll jump off of this, is I come in the house and the first thing I say is, like Karina said, go to a place, drop your stuff down. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to your home. It's your sacred place. You're inviting me in, you open that door. That said, you're letting your guard down. You're bringing me into a place that you sleep the best. You've had memories, you've had cries, you've had arguments, you've had hugs, you've had memories, but it's a chapter in your life that's moving on. You can sleep in the best hotels in the world, but you're never going to sleep as well as you did here at one point. And the love that you had for this house, whether you do or you don't now. So I got to thank you for that opportunity. And by you embracing and hiring me to take care of this chapter to move on, I will guard it like it's my own. So if that's okay, tell me about the house, tell me the memories, tell me why you bought it, tell me what you don't like, and go about that way. So I open up with some humbleness. Thank you for letting me in the door, where everybody else is, I've arrived, here's my flowing robes and roses petals. Get the hell out of here. Walk in there with your head down, be humble, be the person you're supposed to be, make other people good, change lives, make money, have fun, you're going to do great.
And be punctual and be
Oh.
authentic.
Boom,
And
one
I
time.
wanted
And if
to
you're
share-
3 minutes late, call them. Or if you have an assistant that's in the
Right.
office, have them call. The best is if I'm running 5 minutes late, I talk right on my phone, Des, call so-and-so or let them know I'm 5 minutes late. And I come in and like, oh, your assistant called me and said you're 5 minutes late. I said, I am really big on punctuality and I apologize. She goes, no, it was great. I was surprised I got a phone call. Well, great.
Yeah,
Extinguish
thank
it
you.
right
Thank
away.
you for bearing with me. Something
Thank you.
caused me to be, yeah, that's it.
I almost shed a tear there, man, Craig, with the entry script.
Well, that's
Hey.
why he's the velvet teddy bear of Philadelphia. That's
He
why.
is.
No, I take it sincere, man. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things in that house. You know, people have a lot of. It's a touching thing. It might be a divorce. It might be something else. But there's something that house holds. It'll always be part of them. It's like having a pet. The pet, you're all of their life, but the pet is part of your life. This house was part of your life. You know, but it's never going to get rid of. You can't say I didn't never live there. You lived there.
Right. And you
So I
experience
take it that way
things and
and take it with
memories
honor.
and
So-
emotions and everything, and experiences. It's a big thing.
Be genuine. Be
Right.
yourself.
I want to go from Lurchy. Great stuff. I love that. Very, very humble as usual. You're bringing the heat today at this on how to win the listing before you even go in. We're going to go over to Cam and then we're going to circle back to Jana and Corinna and Randy. But Cam, you got limited time last week. You were bouncing around. You were all fired up. You had sunscreen on, which I'm happy that you got your sunscreen line coming out, right?
Yep.
How do you win that listing before you even get there?
Yeah. So first off, good afternoon, everybody. Right. I'm excited to be here. Craig, that intro was absolutely perfect. I mean, like Randy was kind of joking, but obviously it hit us all pretty hard because we felt it. And walking in, I think most of us always will acknowledge the pets. They'll always, acknowledge people, but saying, thank you for inviting me in. I'm going to go do it. We're going to try it on our next listing and see how it goes. Cause that is just so strong. Drop my pen, but so strong. And I really love that. Now, I think the biggest thing I went over last week, which I want to kind of reiterate, is proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? Now there's two completely different separate things. You got preparing the client and you have preparing yourself. Now, Craig really broke it down great where you need to know what you're doing. You need to prepare yourself. You need to be doing the role play and you need to be doing the work to know the things that you're going to present to them. That way they are second nature. That is so important. And that is really the first thing. Everyone on this call that's watching us, if you are not role playing or if you haven't already done hundreds and hundreds of listing appointments and you go into listing appointments and you feel like you get caught up or you get snagged or you get hung up, you need to start role playing that with other folks just like yourself, because there's no stronger group of people that want to help you than us, right? We're all here to help each other and grow each other. And the number one way to do that is by giving one another those hard objections that we all get stuck on, and then working together to figure out how to get through them and how to make it, a successful listing appointment. So I think the biggest thing I want to go over is just the pre-qualifying questions. These are so important. I think that, everyone's already kind of said them already, but for me, the number one question we always ask is, when we do come out, are you really planning on listing a home or do you just want a price, right? Or what is the objective of having me come out there? If everything I say really does work and makes sense and you want to sell your home with me, are you planning on listing your home when I come out? Which leads us right into the next question, because they're all going to say the same thing. Well, maybe, right? They said, well, are you interviewing other agents? And I know, Craig, you brought that one up. These questions work in harmony with each other, you guys. If you ask them if they're planning on working with you after you show them that you can sell the home and they say no, it goes, well, who else are you interviewing that you're comparing us, right? And they'll go, yeah, that's absolutely right. We're comparing. Great. What are those agents that you're comparing doing that you like? And these are questions that you ask right after you get the appointment, you guys. As soon as you're on the phone and they say, yes, come out, you can go right into great. So when I'm there, are you planning to actually list the home? And sometimes they'll say yes, sometimes they'll say no, but it'll give you a ton of ammo throughout the conversation. Next is the second question is, are you interviewing more agents? If they say yes, no kidding. Who else are you interviewing? I know all the top agents here in the area. I've been doing it over 15 and a half years. I'm just curious, who are you planning on interviewing?
Well,
And
I'd rather not share who I'm going to interview. I just want to talk to you first.
Oh, I'm glad you do, because I can't wait to show you everything that we do. And I completely understand most of these agents in their market I've worked with dozens of times and we're friends. So it's totally okay. No big deal. I completely understand. If you don't mind me asking though, Pete, how many folks do you plan on having come out?
Three other agents.
3 other agents. Wonderful. And are you going to have them come out after I meet with you, or are we planning on meeting with them first?
I already met with one. I'm then going to meet with you, and I'm meeting with 2 others after.
Oh, that's exciting. So you've already met with one and you have 2 more coming up. Now, I don't want to change our appointment. I know that we set it for whatever. Do you mind if I come out after? Because I want you to see everything everyone else is doing. And then I want to blow you away with everything that we do. And I want to show you exactly how our system makes people more money. Would that be okay if we switch our appointment so I can come out after the other 2?
Sure. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, great. So tell me again real quick, Pete, we're doing the role play here, guys. This is just what I want you to practice. So Pete, tell me again real quick. You said that you were moving to Tennessee, correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna move to Nashville. We're leaving Florida. We're going up there because I ran out of sunscreen. It's too hot. So
It's too hot there in San Diego. Absolutely. So you're just moving for quality of life, right? You're kind of tired of the California. You want to move to Tennessee. I get that. I know a lot of
no,
my
I
clients
live
here
in Florida. I'm in Florida right now, but I'm moving to Tennessee. Yeah.
There you go. So you're ready to get rid of this hot weather. I think it's what, 98 today. I completely understand. We have a lot of folks doing that. Now, real quick though, guys, real quick, I just want to point this out. Pete, how soon would you want to be moved up to Tennessee? If we could sell this home in 30 days, would that cause you a problem?
No, that would be great. I'm not in a rush, but I would like to be up there by the end of summer because, like I said, I'm running out of sunscreen and I have to get up there.
And the sooner we can get you up there, the sooner you can get moved into your new home and make it just your own. I'm sure your wife and your family, your kids, everyone's really excited to get moved up there, but getting this home sold is the first step, right?
Correct.
All right. And that's like I said, when we get out there, I want to show you everything that I do that's different. And I'm excited for you to see everything that everybody else is doing. And then I want to just blow you away. So I'm really excited to do that. One quick question before I let you go. Have you ever thought about selling the home yourself, or are you guaranteed that you're going to be using an agent? Have you ever sold a home yourself, or
No, I thought about it, but I just don't have the time, and liability wise, I don't know if I want to take that on.
Exactly. So you really are going to decide amongst one of us 4 agents. And that's great, Pete, that, I'm on one of the final contenders. And once we meet, I'm really confident that you'll see exactly how we sell so many homes. Last question. Excuse me, this is kind of an off topic here, you guys, because obviously, depending if this is a for sale by owner or if it's a expired or if it's a cold internet lead, you got to kind of adjust to that. But I always ask, what did the other agent that came in, or your previous agent or agents you spoke to, what are things that they're doing that you really like? Because this is going to give you a ton of ammunition when you do come out and meet with them. So for this example, Pete, if you did have your home listed with somebody else. So Pete, I know that you had the property listed before. What did that previous agent do that actually you liked and it seemed to be working?
They gave me a lot of updates. They did some direct mail. So I liked all of that,
A lot of communication. Communication is really important to us.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important things, because good or bad, I want you to know what's going on. That way we can work as a team to help you sell your home. Now, last thing is, Pete, before I come out this afternoon, I really have a very important package of information about myself and my team. I need you to review that prior to our meeting. Will you promise that you'll do that for me?
Sure. I'll look at it.
Okay, great. I'm going to email it to you. I'm also going to text it to you. Break real quick here, guys. I have set up our pre-listing package in what's called Isuzu, ISSUU. It's a site where you can upload magazines, actually. It's for magazine publications. But we uploaded our pre-listing package there so people can look at it on their phone, they can look at it on their tablet, they can look at it on their computer, whatever it is. And it's not a big downloadable PDF that you have to send in an email. So we've set it up a little bit differently so it's easier to view. And like I said, that service is called Isuzu, ISSUU. It works really well. So I'm going to send you that link, Pete. It's really easy to view. It's like a magazine. It's about 30 pages. And it's going to go over everything that we do differently. If you promise to view that for me, I think it'll really help you understand what we do differently, even before I get out there. And then I tell them a little story. I had someone that actually canceled with everybody else that they were going to go interview with. after they see our pre-listing presentation, because it's almost a guarantee to sell your home. Believe it or not, Pete, we have sold every single one of the homes we've listed in the last 12 months for over market value in under 15 days. Is that what you want for your home?
That's what I want. That'd be
Okay, great. I'm excited to see you this afternoon. If you can do me one more favor, promise me you will not sign a listing with anybody else before I get out there. I know I want to be the last person. I want you to see everything that they do, but promise me you will not sign that listing with anybody else. Pete, would you do me that favor?
Sure. See, typically what I say there is, can I count on your word? Will you give me your word? Right.
That's a good one too. Will you give me your word? That's really important, you guys, because I will tell you, throughout the 15 and a half years, I've always tried to position myself last because it works better and you can get the listing signed on the first go at it when you're the last person typically. But I've also had a couple times where I'm supposed to meet them at 4 and at 3:15 I get a call going, well, we just signed with somebody. Those are only when I did not make them promise and make them promise and make them promise and make them promise. And a lot of people really will actually, they will promise you and they won't do it. And then when those other agents come out, they go, well, I'd love, this sounds great, but I promised Cam that I wouldn't sign anything until he meets me at 4. And that's a hard objection to overcome, you guys. I mean, that's like, well, I don't want you to go against your word. I know you're a good guy. So it's a hard objection to overcome. And you're giving them the out for all the other agents. Like Craig said, we're in a business, we're working to make ourselves successful and our business successful. And you got to make, you got to do what you got to do. And that's one of those things that if you promise, make them promise that they're not going to be listing with anybody else, you'll get out there and they'll be like, I really liked Craig. He was good. He came in and he praised my house and he loved my dog and he's a really good guy. We didn't sign with him though, because we really had to see how you were going to just blow it out of the water, like you said. And we were excited to see it. So make sure that they promise not to sign one else. You always position yourself at the end. And then obviously you have all of your pre-qual questions. And then you go in and get exactly what is that online platform? Randy, it's Isuzu. I'm going to type it here in the chat. ISSUZU. Yep. So anyways, you guys, I think that's one of the most important things is preparation. Now, we used to do the send out the package beforehand. We used to do it with a courier service, or I would have myself personally run out when I was a little kid in the office for my parents, because obviously I grew up in a real estate office. So I was the one that drove out and gave it to them. These days, we do it a little differently. If we are going to send them a physical package, I actually really emphasize that it's one of my team members driving out there. It's not UPS, it's not FedEx. No, we are a big team that can handle anything at any time. And if we just need to run a package across the street, we got a whole team here that can do that. And they will go, wow, no one else has that. Rather than everyone else is going to try to pitch it off as USPS or they can next, no, it's the Smith Group is going to deliver this by hand to you because I need you to promise that you're going to read it. Do you have my word? And again, you guys, you're just building something that's different from what everyone else is offering. Once you get to it, I'm going to go on just for a couple more minutes. I know we got a couple more people, but once you get to the appointment, just like Craig says, you walk in the door 5 minutes early. You're never on time. You're 5 minutes early. That is so important. Because what happens when you plan on being 5 minutes early, you actually end up there on time based on traffic and lights and life. So you're always 5 minutes early. You walk in, you always greet the dog because everyone loves their dog. You always set your stuff down and then you ask them to tell you how much they love their home and you let them talk. You let them tell you everything they love about their home, how great it is, all of the upgrades that they've done, if they've done any. Sometimes we walk into homes and they're die, but that's okay too. You know that because your pre-qualified questions have already answered, what do you love about your home? What would you change about your home? Those type of things. Proper preparation allows you to streamline it. When you go into your listing presentation in person now, what's really important is you lead with confidence. Craig, you led, your what you were saying is spot on. When you have the knowledge and you've done the role play, you're ready to go. Anything that might come at you, you already feel confident knowing the answer. You are going to be able to sit down with them and say, dear Mr. and Mr. Seller, my system works. I'm confident that my systems work. And I know for a fact, there's no one else that can do it as well as I do. What's stopping you from listing with me right away? That's another one is when I first sit down, that's my first question, you guys. What is stopping you from listing with me right away, right now? Sometimes they say nothing.
I want to check out other people. I want to see what type of marketing you're going to do and how expose my house and what type of experience you have because I don't really know you.
Exactly. We don't know each other. And I'm so excited that you've given me the opportunity, Pete, to meet you here face to face. Now, you did promise to me that you'd read through that pre-listing package or that little package I sent over, correct?
Yeah, you gotta
exactly.
be honest. I got the dog was sick and the kids were
I know.
screaming, and I just didn't get a chance to get to it.
That's okay. So real briefly, I'm going to give you the synopsis of what we do, and then I would go through. I have a little brief pre-listing package. But guys, this is how important that pre-listing package is, because if you sit down with them and they haven't reviewed it, you are going to be in a 45-minute, an hour long, an hour and 20-minute long, full-on presentation trying to sell yourself, which is not the way to win this. It's all about getting it set up beforehand. You want them to believe you are the best before you even arrive. And you can do that by your pre-listing package, making sure that you get it to them, quickly, that you're doing everything that no one else is doing. Let's be honest. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of pre-listing packages here a few weeks. If you guys are on the call, a few weeks ago, we went through all of our pre-listing packages, so you can actually see what we're doing here. But a lot of them are very average, you guys. So if you spend a few days and build out a package, or you spend a little bit of money and have someone build out a package for you, you can blow people out of the water with a magazine quality pre-listing package that really sets you up, that when you sit down and you're sitting face to face, they know all about you. They've already researched you. Let's be honest. Everybody's doing the Google searches. Everybody's doing the Zillow searches. They know about you before you sit down, but being able to add on to what you do with your pre-listing package is really important. So that would be my biggest thing there, Pete, is if you said you didn't, no problem. We can maneuver a little bit, but I would, before I show up, I confirm that they've read it, they've seen it. And again, that they're not listed with anyone else. That's another thing. You got to make sure they're not listed. So those are the things, you guys, for me. Sorry, I took up so much time, but
No.
Pre-qualifying,
Listen.
proper preparation. Those are the ways to do it.
That was awesome, because you and Craig didn't get time last week because there were so many great people sharing great nuggets, right? And I wanted to give you guys time. I know Jana went last week, Corinna, and they had great stuff. So let's go to the speed round. Here's my first question to everyone. All right, go ahead.
Hold on, Craig had a question.
I want to add one thing real quick, and I know I already. When you ask to sit down with people, try not to sit in the living room, sit at a table, and try not to have them sitting face to face, because you're ping pong ball. You can't read their expressions. They're eyeballing and giving each other eye language. You need to find a way to get them next to each other. Also, ask the client when I come in, okay, where would you like me to sit? I want to make sure I'm not sitting in your favorite seat. And they're like, what do you mean? I was at a house one time sitting, break yourself down to humility. And I said, literally, I was with a client and all night he kept moving around. I thought I wasn't going, like, bonding with him. I said, sir, can I ask a question? Do you want me to leave? He goes, no, you're in my seat. I'm like, he moved over. He goes, give me the papers. Boom, boom, boom. Ask for permission and he can smooth them. Oh, I'll sit here. Where's your favorite seat? First of all, control the position and where do you normally sit, but try to make it. And I always say, I like you next to each other so I can be talking to you both. So I'm not ignoring you. Is that okay? Steer people where they want to be. And by the way, if you are doing ink listings and whatever it may be with them, put some under the paperwork. I had to have a dining room table refinished really early in my career for writing hard and leaving the imprint of my signature on their dining room table. Point well taken. Learn. Old school.
Love that. Okay,
Hold on, before we go off too fast, Pete, that was so important. I love what Craig just said there. I just totally glossed over that. When you walk in, you have to ask them where you want to set up, where they want you to set up. And that's like the very first thing you do, right? You greet them, you greet their dog, you greet the family, and then you ask where you want to sit down. Craig, thanks for bringing that up, because I missed that here on my notes.
Well, and you got to be careful too. And I also ask, where do you want me to place my materials, right? Because they may say, hey, I don't put it on this table. I just got it reconditioned, or don't put it over here. I don't like things over there. Allow them to have input. Don't just assume. And I think a lot of people come in kind of a bull in a china shop and are fired up and all over the place. And you got to tell stories too. I think that's a big thing. So let's go to the speed round. We got around 10 minutes left. I know we lost some people because they had to jump into appointments. Cam, that was awesome. Craig, awesome. Let's start with everybody who's still on the call. Give me your zodiac sign. Craig, what's your zodiac sign? This is going to be interesting.
I'm an Aquarius.
Okay, Corinna?
Gemini, just had a birthday.
Wow.
Happy birthday. My wife's a Gemini.
Thank you.
All right, Cameron?
I'm an Aquarius as well, and happy birthday, Crean.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Randy?
Cancer.
Why is that not surprising? Okay, and then isn't
What are
Cancer
you?
the crab
Wait,
on the
Pete, what are
beach?
you?
I'm a Libra. I'm very balanced,
Ah, very nice.
right?
You are a Libra, Pete. You are a Libra.
On the scales. So I thought that would be funny. Let's open it up some questions. If anybody has a question, put it in the chat right now, and we can ask all these superstars what they would do. While we're waiting for questions, Corinna, is there anything you wanted to speak upon? I know you were a rock star last week. You gave some unbelievable tips about people, following you and taking notes and taking charge of the whole thing and taking control of it and doing almost what I like to call the assumption close, right?
That's
That
right.
you're already assuming that you have the listing and that this is how you're going to map it out. Anything you want to add to what these guys said today?
Yeah, I think it's really important, and I think everybody kind of touched on this, but rapport building is critical. From the minute you take a call with them and you want to rapport build, you want to create some sort of, without being fake, you can do it because we're all people. We have our own history, and that's what makes us unique individuals. But definitely rapport build and rapport build. And then when you're in the house, they already like you. They know you. They've looked at your social media. They know you're great. Maybe you've even slid them some of your recommendations that you've gotten from past customers, which I highly recommend. And then by the time you're in person, it's easier for me to take charge because then they already know that I'm the industry expert walking through the door, and they definitely want to go forward. But the rapport building, it's very hard to win a listing if you don't have that rapport up front.
I love that. And that's so true too. The big question I always ask everyone, whether it's buyer or seller, and I deliver it in a very kind of dramatic way, you guys. I always say, listen, I've thoroughly enjoyed speaking with you. Can I ask you one final question? And they always say, yeah. I say, how can I make this the biggest win of your life?
Huge. That's
Always.
huge.
How can I make this the biggest win of your life? Because I know it's that important to you and your family. And people love that, you guys. That was taught to me by Michael Mayer, who wrote the 7L and who is part of our organization. Michael's unbelievable. He said, you have to change from coming from, hey, this is my ego or this is what I do, to the generosity generation. How can I make this the biggest win for you? How can I do these? How can I service you? How can I help you? How can I get you to where you want to go? So that would be my big tip is just like what Craig was saying, come in with humility and be very humble and ask them, how can you be in the greatest service position ever to help them and make this their biggest win?
Pete, one of the lines I use like that is I said, and I use it as benchmarks. I said, and I tell the clients, one of the things I'm always working to is to exceed your expectations. I don't just want to meet them, I want to exceed it. So this is a two-way streak. I gave up reading minds. I broke the crystal ball. You got to let me know. If I'm not exceeding your expectations, you got to let me know. If I'm not doing something right, you gotta let me know. And if I am exceeding, you need to let me know because I'm going to turn it up more.
Right.
And as we go through this process, I'm going to keep asking you. But remember, the phone works both ways. Do you agree to work this way? And while you're in, and then I actually said, listen, has any other agent expressed that to you? No. I said, you know why? Because they're one way. They don't want to be told and they don't want to work with you. They want you to be in their mold. So if you want to be like Jello and in their mold and come out the way they want it, great. You want to create our own mold? That's how I work. So my goal is to constantly be exceeding your expectations. So exactly the same way. Set the bar high, and it keeps you having to be high too. So
I love it. So Christina asked a question. She said, what do you all use to create your listings and pre-listings presentations? What platforms or design software, etc.?
Luxury EXP.
There you go. That's all you need.
Why recreate it? It's already there. Somebody else spent the money to do it. I just
Cameron said he's using that one, right? Isuzu, whatever you call that. I looked it up. Seems like it's easy to use.
So Isuzu is where we host our files so that people can look at them anywhere.
Got it.
I think the best thing, the EXP Luxury package is fantastic. Obviously, if you're not part of EXP Luxury yet, we created our listing presentation directly through Canva. Canva is just a very easy to use, but it has unlimited features as well. But I think the EXP Luxury, the presentation is just out of this world, and being able to advertise the things
Here.
is just wonderful. Oh,
Here,
there we
guys.
go.
Pete's seen this. This is what I created in Wix, guys. Wix is, anyone can get a Wix account. You can actually even have a free Wix account, create a website. And this is all created in Wix. One page report that I use with all my sellers. And I wanted to bring this up as well today. See this guy, Ricky? This was his first listing that just sold yesterday. And he's never done a deal, ever. He's an investor that happened to stumble upon a client from his friend's sphere that wanted him to list it, even though he's brand new, but he didn't want to come off new, right? He has no experience. He's got nothing to show. So I always tell my newer agents, look, come to me. This is not mandatory if you join my team, but come to me so we can partner and let my experience speak for you. And we are now a team. So call me your business partner when you're speaking to your potential clients, and don't call me your mentor in front of them. That makes you look less than, right? And we literally made him look like an all-star because this report is his report, right? He was the first listing agent. I was a second agent, but I kind of took the lead on everything, right? Because I know what to do. And this is what our clients received on every Monday. They would receive this report. It just has a couple highlights, right? How many open houses, MLS views. These are all static images. Like, this is nothing crazy. And we just update the numbers for each property, and we duplicate this website in Wix, which is really easy to duplicate the website. And then you just change the photo to the person's photo. You change the address, and then you update these numbers, but the template stays the same. So it's rinse and repeat, right? If we have an open house, we add the section for open houses, and they can click on open house feedback that's stored in the Google Doc. We have 9 questions that every open house agent has to answer for us. If there's showings in between open houses, our clients can click on that and read the reviews. The feedback from the agents. Everything is stored right in one area. If they want to see their website, their property on any of the big portals, they just click on it, and then boom, it takes them. This just sold yesterday, so we have to update the MLS. They can see their property. If they want to see marketing pieces we created, boom, they click on that. It takes them to a Google Drive, and they can see everything. So it makes Ricky look like he's been in business for a decade, right? So if you're new on these calls, which I know many of you are, consider honestly, again, like you being humble, not only between, in front of a client, but also being humble to yourself and say, hey, approach another professional realtor in your area and just say, look, I would love to partner with you. I have a good opportunity. It's a family friend that wants to sell their home. They want to use me. I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you partner with me 50-50? And I can tell you a lot of professional agents would. I actually never left my home to do this listing. I did a Zoom presentation and I showed this report. Literally, this was my listing presentation to this client. That's it. And I'll stop there for you newer agents. Partner with someone that, like a Cameron, partner like a Craig, whoever's in your area, partner with them. And then you do a few of those, and then you can do it yourself. Your confidence level goes up, right? That's what it's all about. It's confidence. That's what sells.
I love that. That's great. Jana, you want to add anything on the last minute from Oklahoma City?
Yes, I do. Sorry about that. I lost my connection there for a second. So I want to say thank you, Pete and team, for, and as Craig said earlier, get with a successor and prepare yourself. And y'all really guided me into the next level of my business. I went out knowing to Orlando that I was going to be seeing some futuristic big business come down the line. And I had been vetting some people. I had my eye on them and had been talking to them and watching them. So I went out to Orlando and learned, embraced and learned and really opened up my mind to, what they're doing so I can not try to reinvent any wheels. I joined the luxury sector of EXP and really have always been an independent business owner before joining EXP. So always did everything the hard way and came in, got into the EXP library, had a listing appointment last week after our meeting, went to the $2.1 million listing, nailed it. and, printed out the presentation, and I was kind of confused because I was going, this is just way too easy. Like, where's the difficulty here? So, by the way, the presentation is phenomenal, and just telling the client, how much marketing and advertising in so many different places, global, bringing in other countries. Very, very impressive. Didn't have any competition. They've signed the listing agreement. Photos are scheduled. It's going live. And, knowing that I've been in the business for over 20 years, I came from a different part of the real estate industry. So really, I've only been doing residential retail real estate for 5 years. Most of my business has been, in the about 250,000 and some upward. So going into the luxury level is all about confidence, all about preparation. Craig, P, just getting prepared and preparing mentally. And it literally took me months to gear up to where I was going and how I was going to get there, and then what I was going to do when I got there. And it is like you're walking out on the field for the first time. And being in the business this long, you'd never think you'd have this many nerves. It's a dollar amount that gets kind of hung up in your head, and the butterflies. But again, just stay grounded, stay just like I've always done. Remember who I am. And it's just like going to any other listing appointment. When I work with first-time home buyers, I think of them as any other client. So it was a wonderful experience. It was very gratifying. And I give Pete and team a lot of credit for it. I mean, I've called Andrea going, okay, am I doing this? Is everything right? I don't want to go off and try to do things in a different light. I want to follow the EXP way. I want to follow the successors. So everyone on here listening, there's tons of people here that have a lot of things and nuggets and professional things to bring to your business. And take the things that you feel comfortable, following. If something doesn't feel right and you hear, somebody tells you to do something and you're saying, well, that's not me, make it about your personal personality and how you're going to do it. Because everybody can do it 100 different ways. Just do what you feel best about being yourself.
That's awesome. That's the way to end going into this magnificent weekend with a huge win, a huge success story. Jana Ferris killing it out there in Oklahoma City. Hey, Cam, do you know what our topic is next week?
Online lead gen.
All right, online lead gen, which is a huge thing. And we're not even going to just show you online lead gen. We're going to show you how to take an online lead and convert it to money, you guys. This is a big, big thing right now going into this hot summer market. And if you need sunscreen, Cameron will ship you out some of his personal sunscreen. It'll be great. I just wanted to thank everybody for being on and contributing. This is how we do things. We collaborate and we contribute. Invite people to this mastermind, you guys. We don't care what company they're with. We like to give it out there and put it out there. The more we put it out there, the more it comes back to us. All right. Everybody have a great weekend. And I wish you a lot of success.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, you guys.
Happy belated birthday, Karina.